Hello, fellow Terrans of Earth. This is a follow-up video to one I did much earlier, I think last year sometime, on a Hugelkultur project I was making in our forest. So I don't know how to transfer Facebook videos over to Vimeo. Maybe some of you know and you can tell me. But in the interim, I wanted to update you on that, and I also want to introduce you to some of the trees on our land here. We are probably selling our house mid-year, and that will be the end of my relationship with my current trees in this area. And I've really grown to love them and come to know them. And so throughout the year I've been collecting their love notes in the form of pine cones and pine needles and leaves and just all kinds of yard debris stuff that normally the landscape guys would run off with, recycle it, and then charge us to buy it back. Which to me is ridiculous. I want to keep it. I keep the yard debris, I keep the fallout, and I put it back into the Hugelkultur system if I can't put it into the compost. Pine needles are fairly acidic, so I do put them in the Hugelkultur, or, you know, I might put them around the base of the azaleas and rhododendrons and such. But anyway, before I take you to the Hugelkultur, I'll take you to a few of the trees in my landscape here that have very definite personalities to me. You know, a few of them have like a male or female kind of gender to them, and some of the younger ones don't really seem to have that yet. I'm not sure what makes that happen that way. I don't know if anybody else even notices that, but it's something I picked up on. So I call them the grandfather tree, grandmother tree. There's several grandfathers and grandmothers out here. They're very beautiful and they comfort me. So I'm hoping in our next place we go to that we might get some more trees like that. I've asked them to attract us to such a place. And then on to the Hugelkultur. That is a German word that was utilized a lot in permaculture training by Toby Hemingway, who was a very fine teacher, and I hope he's resting in peace. He wrote the book Gaia's Garden and numerous other writings from him. And he used that term to explain to us about layering the earth, like with using branches as kind of the spine underneath. Then you layer it with leaves and pine needles and whatever other kind of fun stuff you find in nature. And eventually, over the years, it breaks down and it creates a mound. But while it's developing, it allows oxygen and little animals and things to hide in there during the winter time. It's a really great way to use a lot of the stuff that falls out here. So I've utilized that, and I want to show you how that's turning out. It's a very slow process. It'll keep going long after we've moved out, I'm sure. So anyway, thank you very much for following me on Terran's Love Notes. And you can find a link to that on Facebook as well, and I hope you'll find me in both places. And if you have any comments to share, or if you just want to click like, or you're just surveying as we go along, that's fine. Thank you so much, and take good care. So this is what I call the grandfather tree. A very, very beautiful, massive, stately looking, beautiful creature. Yes, when my sister passed away suddenly last October, I came to this tree and I hugged it, I cried with it, I stayed with it probably a good 20 minutes telling it about my sister's life and the beautiful soul she is, and asking this tree to communicate to all the other trees and pass the message on that a wondrous, lovely soul had left the earth. And it was this tree that gave me a great deal of rest in my heart. So this is one of the grandfather trees. This lovely one is the grandmother tree, one of them. She has a lovely feminine energy. There's a little bird in the background tweeting. And this one behind her feels like a grandmother, a younger one. We're going to move soon, and so I'm going to miss these lovely trees. I guess maybe by the summer. And this one is another grandfather tree. And it has a decidedly different personality from the first one I showed you. It has a very outgoing personality. This one is much more introverted. It's quieter. It has a quieter personality. It feels lovely though. Ah, I love the texture of their bark. Now, over here, the continuation of the Hugelkultur path. Aren't you wowed? So, what we have are layers upon layers of all the debris that has fallen out of the trees. There's some dirt and leaves and sticks. The very heavy branches I use to help create a path through here. And then some of them are also, the really big ones are kind of like the spine underneath all of it. Oh, and over here I spot Kodama! Here you are, sporting that lovely scarf that our friend Annie made. Yep, I'm not sure why he's a he, but you know, Kodamas like trees seem to have a gender, and sometimes they don't have any gender. They just are. And the funny thing I like to say is he's out here climbing around the rocks and trees while I'm doing all the work.